Hello, Cardinals. We're going to talk about Investigation 11.1 today, projecting climate change. And our essential question is, how can we use climate change projections to make decisions about the future? So before we start, we want to review what we did yesterday, which was reading Consensus on Global Climate Change and Future Climate Predictions. And for Investigation 11.1, we're going to be listening carefully as your teacher introduces the investigation and reviews climate modeling. So today we'll be looking at a climate projections. All right, not climate predictions. Climate projections is a kind of scenario or a computer model that describes how something might reasonably turn out given what we know about it. Although climate models have been tested extensively, they do not have the certainty of weather predictions for tomorrow. Despite the uncertainty, climate models and projections they generate are still used by governments to inform policy making. So to examine the climate change projections, teachers are going to display, they're actually going to be posted on Google Classroom and discuss what you notice. So this is from the National Climate Assessment, globalchange.gov. So you're going to see a series of different projections, all right? For example, this first one is the average temperature changes by 2050. So they're predicting that for here in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, we're going to see anywhere between a 3.8 to a 4.1 average temperature increase in Fahrenheit by 2050. Days above 50 degrees, so they're talking about us having around 5 more days above 95 degrees. Frost-free days, so more days with less frost. And I'm just going to kind of go through these quickly. Cooling degree days. Crop yields, they're talking as the temperature goes up, crop yields go down. Forest compositions are going to shift. Possible benefits if automobiles were not used for trips shorter than 5 miles. More precipitation. Heavy precipitation, they're talking about more days. And then having wetter days, so having more inches of rain on a given day. Having more consecutive dry days. And then talking about having less days of ice covering the Great Lakes. So the Midwest has a highly energy intensive economy where emissions of greenhouse gases are more than 20% higher than the nation's average. The region also has a large and increasingly utilize potential to reduce emissions that cause climate change. The Midwest depends on fossil fuels and coal for a lot of the electricity. So we're going to answer some questions in the class. How could you find out whether the scientists who made these graphs were credible, and how can you trust them? And why is there a range of potential changes shown in these graphs rather than just a single projection? And then suppose that your group was advising the government to make some changes. Given your knowledge of weather and climate, what would you do to make these changes? You're going to be making an infographic about the projections about climate in the Midwest. So you're going to get a sheet that looks like this. You're going to be making an infographic about projections, and you're going to be including a central picture or word that describes one of the projections, and then these 6 things that might be impacted in Wisconsin by this projection. So a symbol, a picture, a diagram, and then a short description about why this would happen. And then what we can do now to prevent or slow down this rate of change. And your poster should be colorful and legible. So summary. Climate projections are created by climate models. Climate projections give us an idea of what might be happening in climates in the future and vary by location. And climate change projections allow us to develop policies or laws to lessen the severity of climate change and its impacts. So our to-dos today is that infographic, and if you get time, you'd of course work on your study guide, and then if you get time, you could read Investigation 11.2 for tomorrow. If you have any questions, let your teacher know, and have a great day, Cardinals.